If somebody asked me 2 weeks ago, hey, would you ever make a video recommending the move of knight to h6 for black on move 1 against anything white does? I would go no. Sure, right? I've covered, for example, against the move e4, playing knight h6 here with the wild bull defense. Chess.com calls this the hippopotamus defense, which if you work for chess.com, you need to freaking fix that. But all right, going back to e4, right? We go back to the starting spot. I talk about in that video why the wild bull defense is so terrible. It's just horrible. It's a horrible opening for black. And in general, guys, we don't want to bring our knight to h6, right? This early on in the game against really nearly anything. Like, for example, d4, oh wait, our knight gets picked off. e4, the knight's out of position. We want our pieces, generally speaking, to be towards the center of the board. But here I am in today's video recommending the Horsefly Defense. There's a real opening for black. I just learned about it. The Horsefly Defense against the bird's opening. In which case, we play the move of knight to h6. And the engine says that we have a dead even evaluation. Dead even. And there are a lot of fun possibilities for the black side here. I was recently talking with Billy. Shout out to Billy. Strong bird's opening player. And we were talking through this kind of thing for black. I shared a poll going, hey, have you ever heard of the Horsefly Defense video coming out soon? And then I gave a reminder for the 30% off discount code. Good until the end of this month, which is Chess25. You plug that in, you'll get 30% off on any of the courses that I have online that you decide to invest in on Gumroad. Okay, so I'll leave a link in the bottom of this video in the description, as well as the pinned comment if you're interested in any of my online courses. But today's video, right, we're focusing in on the Horsefly Defense. And when I asked, hey, have you heard of it? Most people said, nope. What the heck is that? 86%, right? So hardly anyone has heard of this. And Billy, a bird's opening player, goes, so annoying. Please find something cool against it. Now, Billy, I hate to say this. I don't know what's cool against it. I just don't. Yeah, well, everyone will see. But okay, we were talking back and forth. And later on, Billy says, the thing is, nothing is working against a seemingly bad move. e4 walks right into d5, the main line. d4 is mainline Stonewall with different move order. And c4 is where to play. b3 just loses to e5. Right? So there's a lot of issues here for the bird's opening player that sees the move knight h6. And Billy said that he only saw it about 13 times out of 3,700 games from the white side. So if you're a bird's opening player, you don't got to start stressing out that you're going to see this all the time. Okay, I'm not Gotham Chess. It's not like everyone online is just going to start playing this, I don't think, overnight. But this is a good move for us. And actually, as I'm sitting here right now, the engine's giving a slight advantage to black still. Now, why is knight h6 so good? Well, by playing the move f4, by definition, you have weakened e4 and g4. Now, that might beg the question, why not knight f6? Knight f6 is totally fine. What I would say is that knight h6 also looks at f5. Okay, so you're looking at these two squares in particular. And these two spots against a pawn on f4 can be very good for us. I mean, let's just go back to e4 for a second. There is a line, right? For example, let's say, I mean, there's different ways we can go about this. Let's say we go with the let's say we go with the modern and we see a 3-pawn center really quickly. I love this move d5. And if e5 is played here, the engine likes knight to h6 because with all of these advanced pawns, f5 is weak, g4 is weak. g4 is weak. And the moment you play something like h3, we can think about knight to f5. We're eyeing up that spot. Let's say you try to hold on to it. Well, oh wait, d4 falls. Let's say queen d3 trying to hold on to it. You have c5, you have h5 here, making space. There's a lot of rich play here for the black side. But going back to this knight h6 position here, we're eyeing some very key light squares. And let's say white tries to strengthen during the game the square of g4 with h3. Well, you just weaken g3. You just weaken that. And in fact, if you do that, we could play knight to f5. We could also play e5. You can't even take because you're going to get checkmated very quickly in this kind of spot, right? So with the move knight to h6, there's a lot of good possibilities here in terms of how to approach it. Let's just go one by one. So first things first, this move of, like, let's just say b3, right? Some bird's opening players like going with b3 and bishop to b2. Very active bishop there. In this case, though, b3 is too early. This is not a great move because of pawn to e5. And what we get here is a Fromm's Gambit, but even better for black. For those of you that are familiar with the Fromm's Gambit, you play e5, you play d6, you capture back, and you start hurling down this pawn. But with our knight on h6 already, as you're going to see, the knight can become a very dangerous piece against the bird's opening. I'm telling you, when I see the bird's opening, I'm playing knight h6. I'm just doing it. Okay, that's my opening of choice now. Let's say white doesn't take. Let's say white goes with e3. All right, we take. We can capture that off. That's fine, right? And if you want to take back, we have bishop to e7. What this does is this bishop blocks any kind of checking ideas. And you're also looking at this f6 square, which is a great diagonal. If bishop b2, we can castle. We have bishop to f6, rook to e8. Look at the development we have. I know that this knight looks weird and it's on the rim, but it's on the rim with a purpose. That's why it matters. When I'm teaching chess to students, I tell them, guys, stop bringing knights to the edge of the board. Bring them to the center. But as you get better at the game of chess, as you play longer, you start to figure out and you start to see how to use the knights on the edge of the board properly, which is a big skill that takes a while to develop. But okay, going back to e5. Let's say white takes. We play d6. Let's say we play d6 there. What should white do here? Well, in all honesty, if white takes this, I mean, they're just in trouble. I mean, this is winning for black. This is winning, especially practically. Let's say knight c3 or something like that. Queen h4, right? And this is a Fromm's Gambit idea. I don't know if any bird's opening players are going to fall for this, at least at a decent elo, but g3, we could take with the bishop. If you want to be a troll, you could even take with the queen. And this game is over. Your bishop just got the job done against that king. So this position here, white needs to stop this move. You need to stop that. If you play h4, oh, bishop g3, thanks. Right? If you play knight f3, okay, what do we do now? We're not going to go with the usual Fromm's Gambit idea of g5, g4. Okay, we're not going to go for that. Instead, what we're going to do is knight g4. Knight to g4. Great move here. So many fun possibilities. If we do see h3, bishop g3, game over. Let's say we see d4, white going, okay, I can't touch the knight. I'm just going to play d4, develop. Okay, we're winning now with bishop takes h2. Always be looking at this sacrifice when you're playing the Horsefly Defense. Now, if white doesn't take the bishop, we're winning. And by the way, this is a brilliant move. Okay, that is a amazing move for the black side. Brilliant, according to chess.com. Yeah, I mean, if you don't take, we have bishop g3 stuff available. Let's say you take with the knight. Okay, queen to h4, check. That is forced. We can play knight to f2. We're attacking the queen. The best thing you could do here is knight to f3, in which case we snatch off the rook. If you try to save your queen here right away, queen takes d4, this game's over. That's it. Going back, if, let's say, knight to c3, what do we do now? Do we take with the knight or the bishop? We take with the bishop. Okay, now, if we take with the knight, our knight's a little bit out of place. If we take with the bishop, we're still looking at g3, just like we would be on d6. So this bishop is just how it was before. This knight is still in a good centralized spot, which is what we want. And often this knight can actually help us deliver checkmate on f2 in some spots, as we'll see. But here, if you take on h2, again, game over very quickly. So many ways white can mess this up. Let's say we see g3. What do we do now? Well, there's multiple moves that are good. Queen to f6, good option. Knight c6, good move. You could also just go, you know what, I'm going to take on h2 anyways. If you take with the knight, game over. If you capture with the rook, we play bishop to g4. Now, white here is up 2 points in material. However, we could have just evened out the material by bishop takes rook. But why would we do that? Why would we do that? Sometimes in chess, most of the time, if you see that you can get material, you go take it. You see you can win a piece, do it, right? Most of the time, okay? However, in this position here, even if we played king over, can white save the rook? No. So we have a lot of time to win that rook there. A lot of time. That rook is going to be stuck for a while. So we don't need to take it right away. We like this tension here. We can play bishop to g4. Let's say you play e3, trying to, give your knight some support, trying to breathe a little bit. Well, queen to f6. We're attacking your rook now. Let's say you save it. Bishop takes f3. Your rook is still pinned. And you can't even take our bishop with the queen without losing it because, again, the rook is pinned. Let's say we see d4. You can capture on f3 now. Castle kingside. You have queen h4 ideas, continuing to go after that pinned rook. Rook e8 ideas. How is white going to get unpinned? If you play king d2, that has a bunch of issues, including queen takes d4. If you play king to e2, all right, the rook's not pinned anymore, but we throw in a check. Bishop to e3. We have a lot of moves here that are good. Taking this rook here is winning. Bishop to f4, winning. Queen to h4, winning. Knight c6, winning. Basically, just make a move and you're winning this position. All right, just move somewhere. Again, going back to knight g4, right? If you see this line of g3, you want to take on h2. If the rook takes, throw in a check, bishop g4. If e3, we saw that we had queen at f6. What about d4? Again, we're taking on f3 there. We are playing very aggressively in this kind of game. If you see the move of knight to c3 here, which is white's best option. Let me just show you the engine line for white. Knight to c3, bishop g2, king f1. White just scrambling to get out of there. Your rook's not pinned, but your rook cannot move anymore. This is the best line that white has there. And as you can see, it's terrible for them. So by playing the move of b3, we get a Fromm's gambit, but by playing the move of e5, we have a better position. Usually, when you play e5 against the bird's opening, the engine's like, what are you doing? But in this case, the engine loves it. You have a great game. So some quiet little move like b3 there, right? Some quiet little move like knight to c3. I guess in that case, there's a little bit of a difference because white has some development there. But yeah, I mean, in general, you can get a very fun game here. For example, let's go with the move e3. Now, you can play c5, you can play d5. d5's a great option here, going for those light squares in so many different ways. Very sound move. I meant to do this, by the way, not that. But you can still play e5 if you want to. This is fun. And if white takes, we play d6. If white takes again, we capture back. White's only move here that gives them an advantage is knight to f3, but we play knight to g4. Again, you want to kick our knight, you weaken g3. You play bishop to e2. Quiet move here. I'm showing you the most common moves following e3. Against e5, most commonly in online chess, white takes. White most commonly takes. White most commonly plays knight f3. White most commonly plays bishop to e2. Bishop takes h2, we're winning. If you take with the knight, we throw in a check, and because of our knight being on g4, we have mate. Beautiful. If the rook captures, we take. And if your knight takes back, well, you're up material, but not for long. Queen to h4, and we're going to pick off the knight. This is great. Right? Just so much fun chess here for us. Now, let's say we see the move of e4. This is a move here that you could see as well. Right, pawn to e4, advancing in the center of the board. But as Billy mentioned, we can play d5, and we have a really fun game here. White's pawns are just overextended. f5 is going to be weakened. If you push the pawn, that's weakened. If you take the pawn, that's weakened. For example, right, let's just go over this move here of pawn to e5. I kind of like c5. I kind of like wiping out half of the fourth rank, continuing knight c6, maybe throwing in my knight to f5 if I do see something like h3. Now I'm looking at knight g3. I'm also looking at h5 here, maybe h4, just developing my pieces in such a natural fashion, and white is in a very uncomfortable spot positionally. And with e4, you can play e5 as well. That's playable. White shouldn't take it, right? They shouldn't. And in some ways, this makes the knight on h6 look kind of bad. I think d5 helps the knight because it might help this knight see the f5 spot better. But by the way, if you do play e5 and white takes, well, you're winning. You're winning. g3, thanks for the pawn, thanks for the rook. King e2, thanks for the pawn, thanks for the check. And yeah, come on, what are we doing here? Another option white can go with is playing d4, which, puts them into a stonewall. I mean, if you do see the move d4, there's a lot of ways that you can play this, including the move of pawn to d5. And your knight is in a great spot right now. It's attacking g4, it's attacking f5. White, at this point, can't do much to make those squares any better for them, right? So that's one approach in that type of position. But let's say we see knight f3. This is the most common move in online chess for white. And here, I do got to say, playing the move of e5 is a mistake. It is. And you can still get fun results with it. If white takes and they take again, we can still get some fun results. You could play knight g4 right now. If you want to play crazy, you could take with the bishop first and then look towards knight g4. There's still a lot of fun attacking chess here, giving the bird's opening player a different look than the Fromm's gambit usually would. But when you do play the move e5, white can take the pawn and not take the second. Right? White can do like d4 here. That's probably what I'd recommend if I were talking to someone playing as white here. Or, let's just go back to the move e5. White could just take with the knight. I mean, that's something that they could go for. But again, you know, you play knight c6. If they take, you take with the d-pawn. We have very fast development approaching, and this is a very difficult position for white to play. Okay, so even with knight f3, e5, is it sound? No. Is it fun? Yeah. But you can't play d5, and you just have a very sound game here. e3, we could play e6, bishop to e7. The engine likes black here, castling kingside. I know that this knight looks strange, but it's not a bad knight. It's really not. If bishop to e2, yeah, let's take some space. Why not? If castling kingside, you have a lot of different things you can do here. Knight to f5 in the future is something we're looking at. Knight to c6. You can fianchetto this bishop. You could play f6 just to neutralize that knight and the bishop on b2 a little bit. But here's black. You have a slight advantage. You have an edge, and yeah, I think that the Horsefly Defense is better than the name gives it. So let me know what you thought of this down below. Again, I know that the bird's opening is not that common, but hey, when you do see the bird's opening, if you do know someone that plays the bird, start playing the Horsefly. Let me know how it goes. See you in tomorrow's video. Remember, 30% off discount code for all of my courses. I don't have a Horsefly Defense course. Let me know if you'd want to see that. I have the Hippo Defense course, Czech PIRC Defense course, a Modern Scandinavian course, how to crush the Scandinavian defense course, the PONZIANI course. Okay, those 5. There we go. Finally got it. You plug in the discount code CHESS25, you'll get 30% off on any of those courses you decide to get. And yeah, good till the end of the month. I'll see you in tomorrow's video. Peace. To finish out, I wanted to give a big shout out to my Patreon community, specifically Walter, Rob, Steve, Rob, Ray, and Roger, and the rest of my Patreon community. Thank you guys for your support. If you haven't checked out the Patreon already, there are some exclusive benefits that you gain by becoming a member. I look forward to seeing you over there, and I'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.